Hey guys, my name is Artyom Samoilov. I get a lot of questions from futsalers who are going to play 7v7 soccer during the summer period about all kinds of formations in 7v7 soccer, about how to defend, how to attack in certain situations. And in this video I will talk about defending in formation 3-2-1. One of the basic principles of defending is that you have to stay tight. For example, if you compare this with the attacking play uses the whole width of the pitch. Here, when you are defending, you have to think about how to stay tight, how to get the zones covered, how to stay with your respective players and so on. Another principle is that you have to defend in 2 corridors out of 3, and your reference point will always be a ball. You have to understand that the game is all about the ball. If you take this player out of the game, if you tell the goalkeeper out of the game, the game gonna continue. But if you take the ball away, no game. So the ball is the most important thing in the game, so you have to think about it as a reference point. That's why, for example, if you are defending in 3-2-1 formation and opponents have the ball on the right side of the court, then you have to defend in the right corridor and in the central corridor, and you leave the left corridor out. In this kind of situation, one of the midfield players will go to take the ball, the striker will drop back a little bit in the center, but behind the ball. This is another principle of defense. You always have to stay behind the ball. If you are here, then you are out of play. So in this case, central attacking player would drop back in this zone. Another midfielder will provide this kind of triangle here in this zone and will cover the central midfield. This player can be a little bit closer to his respective player. This one can drop back a little bit to the right, not too much though, a little bit slightly off the center line. And this one drops back in the center. So you're basically leaving the left corridor out of the picture. You're not thinking about it while the ball is in this position. If the ball goes to the right, then while the ball is going, this is your time to reconstruct here. So this one, the striker, if he is, for example, the closest player to the ball, he can go there. If he's not, for example, if he stays with this player, then one of the midfielders, in this case the left one, will go and attack the ball. This one will provide the cover of the midfield area, and this one will go a little bit closer to that player. This one will go slightly to the left, and this player again will go in the center. So your players have to be prepared to do this, because the ball is moving all the time, and you have to remember that you have to move all the time in this kind of structure. I can tell you that this kind of defense, and this is called the zonal defense, is pretty hard, pretty complicated to implement through the training process. And the hardest part is that you need time for it, because it doesn't come with 2 or 3 training sessions. Sometimes you're gonna spend half a year to do this. If your players understand it and are able to actually implement it in the game, this will give your players a little bit more freedom. They will have to run less than comparing with individual cover, where you have to stay with your respective player wherever he is. So this is one of the benefits of the zonal defense, but again, you have to train your players, and players must understand how to move all the time, and that they have to work as a system, as a unit. If one player, for example, doesn't understand that, he drops back, he is there, the zone is open, or like this, for example, and you have a goal. And the job of those 5 guys will mean nothing if this 6th one doesn't do his job well. So to resume, you have to defend tight, you have to defend in 2 corridors out of 3. You have to remember that your players have to be defending as a unit, and the point of reference is the ball, always the ball, not the players. You can even imagine the situation, for example, if you have one player here. Let's take this crazy example, right? And all of the other guys are on that side. Even in this case, you don't go there. You go and cover those guys like this. So you watch them, you are behind the ball, and you attack this player. So another rule is that you have to stay behind the ball, lower than the ball. Okay, so imagine there's a line here, so you cannot be there, you have to be there. Even if you are not close to the ball, you are there. If there is a situation when you have to decide where to put your weakest player in this kind of situation, this depends on what objective on the game you have. For example, if you have to win the game no matter what, well, first of all, you're gonna choose slightly more attacking formation, but again, if you stay with this formation and you are decided that you have to attack more than defend and you have to score, this is more important for you, and for example opponent is weaker, then you have to put your weakest player in one of the flanks, not in the middle, because the middle guy will cover for those guys if they make mistakes, for example on the flank, right? If they are outplayed, this guy covers. So this defender should be the best defender you have. And again, if no matter what you have to keep a clean sheet, or if you have to, I don't know, draw the game, so you have to defend more, then you put your weakest player up front. And his job will be providing pressure on those guys with the ball and fighting for the ball. And important, when he, for example, wins the ball, he doesn't go there and dribble. Of course, there are situations when, for example, if he intercepts it here and it's open there, go and try and shoot. But if you have at least one defender, and if this player is the weakest player you have, he has to cover the ball with his body, you have to provide support immediately, and his job is to keep the ball for those guys. This is the main job, not to score, not to pass there on the flank, no. Wait for them, give the ball back and try and open again. So I hope you learned from this video. If you have still any questions about defending in formation 3-2-1 in 7v7 soccer, then let me know in the commentary section. Also tell me guys, what position do you play if you play this 7v7 soccer? If you ever played it, what is your favorite position in this kind of game? Also, don't forget about the subscription gift. I have the link in the description to this video. All you have to do is subscribe to my channel, go to that link and grab the free gift. If you still haven't subscribed, another reason for subscribing is that I update every week. I have a lot of content for my subscribers exactly, and if you're not subscriber, you won't see some part of videos. So that's why I encourage you to subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe, share this video on social media if you liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.